Well, welcome everyone. Thank you for tuning into the Monica Brant Show. I'm your host, Monica, and I'm super excited to invite my co-host in, Dylan Gemelli, an expert on all things bodybuilding, fitness, health, peptides, injury prevention, and all things. Hi, Dylan.
How you doing today, Monica?
I'm good. It's a beautiful day here. I got to go on a hike today and just say my prayers and be in nature, and got to come back and look forward to what we have in store for us here right now.
Yes, same here. It's like turning fall here, so sitting outside in the morning, I had to even put a sweatshirt on. It was a little different this morning. Yeah, but it's nice. It feels good, and already did cardio and ready to roll.
Hey, now I got a quick question for you. Our guest today is in a state that you're looking to move to.
Okay. All right. Now we're talking.
I mean, it might be kind of fun to go in and get your butt kicked a little bit here and there, right? By someone else.
I'm always up for it. I'm still not too old to go get a whooping, so I'm down.
You know, I was watching some of his videos on his training, and as an athlete, you know, I can push myself all day long, but oh my goodness, I love to have a good coach put me through the ringer. I thrive on that kind of stuff. So I was like, oh, I want to go do that.
Well, you know, every doctor has a mentor. Every coach needs a coach. So no matter what we do, we can always go to somebody to help us do something we don't know.
I know. Well, and I don't know how far away you're going to be in location once you and Queenie move to Arizona, but it might be kind of fun. So it'd be fun to get to know our guest today a little bit more, right? So
looking forward to it.
Yeah. So without further ado, we have Justin King coming on today. He's there in Arizona with the Built Better gym. I'm so excited about learning more about what he does, but his Instagram says that he is changing lives of pro athletes, busy executives, and anyone that's interested in real results, in serious results. I mean, I think that's pretty cool. And the other thing that you and I both are so excited about is he's a believer, and I can't wait to talk to him about his faith in Jesus and his testimony. So let's get Justin in.
You're getting this work in. One-on-one, bitch, they team. One-on-one, never again. One-on-one, don't get the cake in the butter. I count it like hustle the money all in.
What's going on, guys?
There he is.
What's up, Justin?
How's it going?
I'm great.
Looking forward to talking with you today, man.
Yeah, man. Thank you for bringing me on. I appreciate it.
So I just have to, I don't know if you've been, have seen any of my show, but in 2020, when everyone was locked down, I just decided I wanted to start talking to my friends in the industry that have helped pave the way from years ago up to the current. And I just started doing interviews, getting to find out how everyone was doing within the lockdown situation, right? And what are they doing to maintain their health? And what are they doing to help others? And how are they keeping their goals and their businesses thriving? And it was really fun because my first guest, Ronnie Coleman, 8-time Mr. Olympia. So
That's a pretty good first guest.
Yeah. I was like, hey, Ronnie, what do you think? And he's like, yeah, let's do it. So, you know, it just kind of started to be a thing. And I've had so many great conversations, and I'm really excited this year coming back and having Dylan with me, because Dylan brings, you know, a whole nother group of people and ideas and thoughts. And, you know, we just really excited about what we're doing here with the show and getting to interview. So, you know, the show's always been about the legendary athletes, the nutrition gurus. Even I brought in a lot of people from the past that have worked within all the magazines. I know the magazines aren't as big a thing now, but in the past they were. So bringing in like Bill Geiger, he was editor-in-chief of Muscle and Fitness for years. And it was just really fun to bring all these different people in and hear their story and how they helped create the industry. And so you are current, you know, a coach that's working with some really current people. And I know that this is, you're helping to build the legacy of the industry right here, right now, for others to enjoy in the future. And we can't wait to just find out a little bit more about you.
I love that. Well, thank you. Yeah, it sounds like your show has some really incredible guests. So I'm honored that you thought of bringing me on.
Well, we're excited to get to visit. So can you take us back just to who you were growing up and how, how Justin grew up and where you grew up.
Yeah, so I'm an Arizona native. I feel like a lot of the people here in AZ, they've moved here from really cold places. I was born in the heat, and for some reason, my wife and I decided to stay here. But I heard Dylan, I heard that you might be moving out here, so
Yeah.
there you go. Born in northern Arizona in Flagstaff, moved down here. Like I said, been here my whole life. My wife and I, we met in high school sweethearts. We just had our 11-year anniversary, so. God's good. Yeah, I found the right one from the jump, and just got into the athletic side of things and the training side of things from an early age. And here I am in the same place doing the same thing, just trying to be consistent.
Awesome. Are you in the Phoenix area? Is that where you're at?
Yeah, so we're Scottsdale. So
Okay.
Yeah, basically Phoenix, but yeah, Scottsdale.
Excellent. I was literally just there a week ago.
Yeah, it's an interesting time to come out here, but I'm telling you, man, once it gets to the fall, it's gorgeous. There's a reason why so many people come out here.
Excellent, man.
Yeah, you'll love it.
We have my husband and I have a horse training business, and we're in Scottsdale, if not twice a year, once a year for sure, right when the Arnold is happening. So it's been kind of challenging a few years for me because it's the same timing when the Arnold Classic's going on, but it's one of our bigger shows there at Westworld.
Okay, nice. That's awesome. Yeah, there's a lot of people forget this was a cowboy state. There's lots of horses out here, lots of all of that out here. So that's awesome. That's cool.
Were you an athlete growing up, Justin?
I was. So I played basketball, and then I did mixed martial arts. I'm 5'7", 5'8" on a good day, so that's not going to go super far with basketball. In the MMA world, I was really competitive, was doing really, really good, but I hated competing in front of people. So that's kind of where the love for the gym came. I've always been really obsessive and wanted to do the best and learn from the best and really push the limits there. And I was able to get into the gym and find kind of a me versus me. And there's no one sitting around watching. So that's where all that came. But yeah, I did a few sports growing up.
Awesome. I'm curious about something. So, there's a lot of trainers out there, but there's only a handful of trainers that really kind of, know what they're doing. And I don't mean to, and I don't mean to put it like that, but that's just what it is. I think we all know that, anybody that does it.
Sure.
When I started, I went to college for exercise science, and then I changed to business because I knew you could really just get certifications and have something else to fall back on. When you have gone through this, what have you kind of decided to do to set yourself apart or specialized in, and why did you choose that? Because I kind of started more with nutrition and then moved on to more like athletes and everything. But what's your main passion, and what do you focus on?
Yeah, so the original passion and focus came from the bodybuilding side. It quickly turned into kind of more the athletic side, and I've worked in a lot of bodybuilding along the way. But yeah, you're 100% right. The barrier of entry for the personal training world, we'll say, or the strength coach world, it's it's not difficult to get into. You can do a weekend course and go train people. That's a beautiful thing on one end, because if you want to do it and you have a dream to help people and to train people, you can get in and do it. It's also a tough thing because you might have someone out here in Scottsdale charging $150 an hour that doesn't really know what they're doing, and they might get someone injured. But to each their own. I know in my world, like I said, I've always been really obsessed with results, and knowing that God's given me a specific set of passions and things that are specific to me, wanting to maximize that, be the best steward that I can. So I always just got really aggressive with learning from the best people. One of my early mentors, Charles Poliquin, went to every single course multiple times and did consults with him and just bugged the crap out of him, if I'm being honest. And so I think that's one of the things that sets a lot of these people apart, is how passionate they are about it and how much they're willing to invest and not just settle with I have my personal trainer certification, I know what I'm doing, but going and learning from people that are doing it better. But yeah, there's a ton of levels to it. Absolutely.
Awesome.
Charles Poliquin, did he move to Canada? Did I hear that?
So Charles was originally from Canada. He bounced around in his career from Rhode Island. He had a center out here in Phoenix for a while, went to Colorado Springs, and then he passed, gosh, it's got to be 6 years ago now, I want to say.
Oh, did he?
Passed away, unfortunately. Yeah, I was blessed enough to work for him for a couple of years prior to his passing, but he had a congenital heart issue, and it was just one of those things in his mid-50s, heart attack. Yeah, super unfortunate.
Somebody recently asked me about him, and I had lost track of him. It's hard to keep up with everyone. I didn't know, but he definitely exceptional coach, intelligent with everything, and it's awesome that you had such a great training and mentor, like you said. And I wonder how many people that are current in the industry now actually know that name.
Yeah, well, and it totally trips me up too, because when I started, he was kind of at his pinnacle. And so that was, you mentioned the name Charles or Poliquin, and people are like, yeah, like that guy, like I know who he is. And I've been running into it more, whether it's someone's doing a consultation or an intern or whoever it is, and they're like, Poliquin, like who's like, do you have his Instagram handle? It's like, no, like, not like that, not like that. Like, got to go back to T Nation articles and all that. So he's a bit more of a legend now.
He's a legend. And that's really what this show's about. So was for me, and still moving forward, is I want to capture all of the history from as much as I can from our industry, from people that have helped laid that foundation across the board, not just bodybuilding, but across the board. And so that's kind of been a mission I've had, but and I'm thankful Dylan's interested in joining, because it's kind of fun to have a guy's perspective sometimes too. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. I want to go back to high school and you and Brooke, your wife, meeting. That is amazing.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Now, does she have the same faith? Did you guys grow up similarly?
Yeah, we did. We grew up very similarly. In high school, I mean, I'm sure there's people who say this in high school, that they're like an old soul, but I feel like we were both kind of that way. Like, she's 14 when we meet and I'm 15. And within the first year, like, we're talking about like what our 10-year plan is and what we want to do. Like, we were not interested in partying, not interested in any of that. It was like, hey, like, I saw that the church has this extra Bible study. You want to go to that? Like, sure. Yeah, let's go do that. So we were both just heads on straight, had our silly stuff too. But I'm very, very thankful for her. She's a driving force behind so much of the good that's gone on in our lives. And so,
Have you heard of the scripture, Proverbs 18:22? It says, a man that finds a wife finds what's good and in favor with the Lord.
Yeah, very true.
I always like to dangle that one in front of my husband.
Yeah, like, hey, remember.
When there's a certain thing, you know how you guys are. You're like to the girls, do you really have to have that? Do you really need to do that? Is that necessary?
Yeah.
I'm always like, you wanted me, all of me, and remember 18:22.
That's right. That's right.
Just a little side note, not to take this off you, but my husband and I knew each other in high school in the 80s. Awesome. We both went to Christian school. Well, he went for most of his life. I went my senior year here in San Antonio, and we had a crush on each other our senior year. And I just say a crush, like I was not the girl that he wanted to date, but we just kind of liked each other. We went on our banquet together, and then we both, we graduated in 89, did our own, whirlwind, and 25 years later reconnected, and now we're married for 12 years. So
wow.
Like God brought us back together, and we were like, that's so crazy when you look back at really things. Cool. And, yeah. Oh goodness. Well, marriage is amazing, and I know that she's your mantle, for your, but I know you're her spiritual umbrella, and what a wonderful thing that God has created for marriage. And of course, Dylan and his wife are in that same place, and I'm so excited. Maybe you guys are going to get to know each other a little better once Dylan gets to Arizona. And
it sounds like we got to do a good workout and then a good little double date when you get out here.
I would love to do both, man.
Go refeed on some burgers after or something.
We're going to be in Queen Creek, so we won't be too far from you at all. So.
That's nice. Great. That's a beautiful place. Yeah. So a quick question, Justin. Are you a dog or cat fan?
You know what? I gotta say both because I have both. It's like asking who your favorite kid is. Like, I don't think people can answer that accurately.
Good
I will
deal.
say my dogs have a very special place in my heart just because they're such a pain in the butt. Sometimes you gotta, you know what I mean? Cats are easy. You gotta work a little harder with dogs. So I might have to lean towards dog.
That's good. That's good. Dylan's got a beautiful cat, so I get to see his cat on some videos here and there. But I've had both, so I love them both. And of course, we're horse people, so we've got we've got all the horses coming out the ears too. But that's awesome. So okay, Arizona is 115 sometimes during the summer. Are you out on the turf or fields or outside coaching people in that heat? Do you take it on?
Yeah, so it depends. This off season with the people that we had during the summer, we'd get some early 7 a.m. field workouts in, but the heat doesn't necessarily scare the athletes away. I'd say I worked for a coach out here, Ian Danny, a while ago, and we used to coach out. He converted the parking lot into like 60 yards of turf. And so we'd go outside and we'd coach athletes out in the heat, and it, like you said, like 110, 115, and then there's asphalt under the turf. So you're smoking out there. Definitely not ideal. If I were to set it up a little different, but yeah, no, we got to do what we got to do. There's athletes that they got contracts and they have families and everything else. So if it's needed, it's needed.
Man, I don't know. I'm all about the heat. Texas here, you know, we had 109, 110 a few, maybe 2 months ago. And my girlfriend and I were out hiking, and I was like, I didn't even know it was 109. I was like, and I had my weight vest on. So I'm all about the heat. I love it. Dylan, what about you? You good with that kind of heat?
I can't stand the cold. And granted, I live in the Midwest. So like right when we got off the plane, I told my wife, oh man, I love this. And it was 110, but we did live in Vegas. So I already know the desert, heat. But personally, I can train in it. I love to be out in it. As long as it's not humidity like here, when it's 90, it's worse than there at 110 by far.
Yes.
Not even close. I think though, it just depends on the person, and you got to probably be aware of if they have any prior health conditions or if they're really showing some kind of thing. But I think more so people could handle it better there than they could here in the summer outside, or any place with humidity. But I love it. I can't wait to not have to deal with cold anymore. But, everybody's different on what they prefer.
Yeah.
Justin, when I've been, because I do a lot during the day, and I don't mind the heat ever. I'm out on my street doing backward sprints and farmer walks and all these things. So, and of course we're in the barn a lot riding horses. So I got heat all the time. And people always look at me and they're like, that's crazy. How, why are you in the heat? And I find myself telling them, you should like embrace the heat because it makes you stronger. It makes you more able. Like if you can get out, because I ran track too, so it's like you can't make a track meet all of a sudden if it's 100 and something degrees in the middle of the day. You've got to go run. Like you got to be ready for anything. So I'm always like, get out there and get stronger. Don't let the heat whip you. You whip the heat. I'm always like cheerleading the heat now. Do you find yourself having to do that, or are your athletes and your executives kind of up for it?
They tend to be up for it. We're blessed to be in a niche market to where when people come in, they're going to do exactly what we say. So if we said you have to go do headstands outside and drink orange juice, they'd be like, okay, cool. Like if it's going to get me a bigger contract, I'll do it. So they don't tend to have a pushback. But no, the heat, no joke. It builds character. And from an athletic standpoint, it's great. They're in the college football world. It's known that those Florida boys, like they train outside, and during the summer, like they come and play you, you're in trouble. Their conditioning is great, and they've been training out in the humidity and the heat that whole time. So it's definitely a good tool.
Definitely. I've got a question for you. So I know you work with a lot of different athletes, and I'm sure very prominent. Now, I know that some can be kind of like prima donna-ish and some are very humble.
Yeah.
Do you run into people giving you pushback or trying to tell you? Because for me, it's like if they're coming to you and they want the help, they should be listening. And, of course, there's a give and take there with any teacher or anything, but there's a reason there's a teacher and a pupil, so on and so forth. Do you do you run into pushback, or do you find that people are very respectful for what you're teaching them? And how do you kind of handle different sets of personalities?
Yeah, I mean, on the personality side, I think I'd have more to say. When it comes to pushback, there's sometimes that we'll have an athlete that comes in and initially they won't know how we work at my gym Built Better. But no, the majority of people that we have, they see the results that we've gotten. They know that we're the expert, and we make it very, very clear. Like, we want to help everyone that we can, and we will give you the best results, but you have to trust our process.
Mm-hmm.
And we only work with people that trust the process. So we make it super clear up front. There's plenty of places for people to train, but we're for a very select few. So don't really work with stuff there. On the personality side, though, absolutely, we go super deep into that. We'll do Dr. Braverman. In my head, he's one of the leading experts in just all things neurochemistry, and especially he has his Braverman assessment that he came out with. It's a written test as opposed to doing like a blood or saliva test. But we'll utilize that and a few other personality tests to see the best ways to interact with coach and even play with variables like intensity, volume, and variation in programs. And we'll customize that to their personalities. So that 100%, we are all over. And we've seen a lot of great results from that.
Wow.
Yeah.
What was that coaching method called?
Yeah, so it's Dr. Braverman, and he has the Braverman assessment. It used to be free. You could just go online and grab it. He finally monetized it, so you have to pay like $20 to get it. But we have our version of it that we put all of our clients through prior to them starting with us. But yeah, the Braverman assessment.
Wow.
Is that similar? And I haven't really researched any others, to be honest, but I did a strength test with oh gosh, what was the company name? I'm spacing. I was one of the main. It's one of the big ones, and they do like your top. You can do your top 30 strengths by going. You answer all these questions, and it tells you like what your strengths and what your weaknesses are.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't remember what that one's called.
Yeah, that in my head that would be like a layman's interpretation version, to where it'll give you the exact like, hey, like you are good at this, you're not good at this. Yeah. This one, it's giving us their neurotransmitter dominance and then deficiency, looking at the four main ones. So acetylcholine, dopamine, serotonin, and GABA. We're looking to see which ones genetically they are dominant in, and then we're looking for in that moment what they're deficient in. So it'll give you some random score, and then we look at it and based off of, so Charles Poliquin was one of the first ones to coach that way. But we'll look at what we've pulled from our data and then what Charles had and Christian Thibodeau and a couple other guys that use it. And then we'll coach according to that. So it's not as organized as one of those, but I'm sure it's similar. You're just trying to figure out what's specific to you and how can we manipulate that to get you a better result.
So it sounds like it's a little more like for the neurology, like a little bit more deep on the
absolutely
level, right?
Absolutely. One, looking at like if someone's more dominant in acetylcholine is a really important piece of like a muscle contraction. And the speed of a muscle contraction, or dopamine, how well someone will respond to intensity, and it's linked with different genetic factors. So it seems like it's just a brain test, but also our nervous system, which controls strength and your coordination, it's a brain thing, you know what I mean? And training is nervous system based. So it's all one system, one body. So it is testing the brain, but it's a systemic test.
So what do you say if someone like me, and I think we may all be similar to this kind of thing, but I love the intense stuff. Like, I don't want to go just do something hokey pokey and like no soft, fluffy massages. Like, get in there, use your elbows, use your knees. I don't care, whatever. Yeah. Get on the table and put all your weight on it.
Yeah.
The better. And it's like, I want to wear my weight vest. I want to do sprints, like nothing long distance, slow pokey stuff. Like, I'm just all about, and I thrive on that kind of intensity. So what would you say is somebody like that?
Yeah. I mean, I'd have to see your actual test results to get a good idea. But since it is a systemic thing, there is an attraction piece to it as well. So you being attracted to heavier things that are more intense or shorter duration, like you're not afraid of hard work, whereas I shouldn't have said hard work because yoga can be hard work. But I was going to say on the other end, like yoga is very slow. It's not aggressive. It's long duration. It's patient. Mm-hmm. That I'd associate more with someone who's really dominant in GABA, let's say, which is an inhibitory neurotransmitter. So it's calm. Whereas for you, like dopamine, boom, 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 like you need something crazy, right? And I'm the same way. And a lot of times being attracted to the sport of bodybuilding and being in the fitness space, it's very common. So absolutely, I would assume, like, prior to looking at anything, I'd be like, okay, she's probably going to fit into that category. I wouldn't be surprised.
What about you, Dylan?
So is this something, I'm assuming this is something you do before you even get started with everybody, kind of like their initial, phase before they get started. I'm curious because this is really amazing and I haven't really heard of anybody doing this before. And I think that really sets you apart and is a testament to how you go about this and take special care in what you're doing, which is obviously why you get the clients you get. Where did you come up with this and what even brought this into your head to do this? I'm just curious.
Yeah, so truly there's maybe 10 things that I do that are original. Mm-hmm. Like everything else is I've learned from the people who are creating the best results. Again, super obsessive. So if someone's really good with verticals, I'll go learn from them. If someone's really good with hypertrophy in the legs, I'll go learn from them. So I've accumulated all of that and then put it into a system here with my gym. It's truly just been that I like the saying, standing on the shoulders of giants. I have 30 people, let's say, that I've predominantly learned from, and it's taking all the things that I feel like work really well and discarding the things that I feel like aren't as good. And then just putting it into one system.
Wow. That's a lot of the most successful people do that. They take bits and pieces of things, put it together, make it better. So that's really, really awesome. Do you find that the clients really appreciate that and love that?
Absolutely. So, I mean, us being at the place that an athlete who they think that they're done, like we had a athlete a couple years ago. He thought he was done in the NFL, came to us. We were able to rehab him. He signs another couple mil contract. So like these people have millions and millions of dollars on the line. So knowing that we take it as seriously, if not even more seriously than they do, it's attractive to them. You know what I mean? If you had $1 million sitting in your bank account and you had to invest it somewhere, you're not going to invest it with your buddy because he says he'll take good care of you. You're going to do it where someone has a proven track record and they do something that's above and beyond. And we do that by being individualized, by not being egotistical with any one system, but applying what's best for the athlete, whether it's training a bodybuilder like, I don't know, like a wrestler or like a whatever it is, like Chris in this case, he's doing these prone lateral raises. We end up using like 5 pounds at one point, and he's almost getting frustrated. Like initially when we were getting into all this stuff, like the weight's so light, like this is completely against everything that I've done, but they need it. You're giving the athlete exactly what they need and not giving them what they want or giving them what someone else has done, but exactly what they need.
I love that it says respect the set.
Yeah, I stole that saying from one of my mentors, Ben Prentice. He told me, he was like, I can keep it on the wall as long as he can come sign the wall. So yeah.
I stole back in the early 2000s. I stole the saying from one of the trainers at Gold's Gym because I lived in LA for 10 years and I was Gold's Gym every day. And one of the trainers out there was basically kicking a girl's butt. And she was kind of whining about it. And he goes, girl, no pain, he said, no hurt, no tight skirt. So I had a t-shirt made, no leg day, no hurt, no tight skirt.
I love that.
I know. So I want to say something because, I know that you're, obviously you are very humble and that's a trait that we don't see enough. And I appreciate that very much because I know God always says, the humble, right? Be humble. And so it's wonderful. But I did also go to a leadership class with John Maxwell a few years back, and he gave permission. He said, when you use something, he said, basically, are you familiar with John Maxwell? He's a leadership guru. He was a pastor for, I don't know, maybe 30, 40 years. And then he became a leadership guru, leadership coach, like global. And he still does a lot of leadership coaching. If you pull up John Maxwell, so all of his stuff is, I wouldn't say it's like he's a Christian leadership, but all of his principles are from the Bible.
Okay, cool.
If you think about it, most everyone that does really well with leadership is pulling from scripture because that's what makes the most sense in the big scheme. That's how God created it, you know. But John Maxwell says, you can give me credit 1 or 2 times, and after that, just it's yours. Whatever it is, it's yours.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that helps or not. You know, you've obviously taken the things and you've given credit and honor to people, and it's awesome to hear of your mentors, and especially someone like me. I'm 53, so Charles Poliquin, I know all about him. I never got the chance to work with him, but I've worked with a lot of really great people that I know have worked with him, and so that's an honor. So yeah, I think that's great. But I just thought I'd share that little bit of leadership guru Maxwell.
I love that.
Use it a couple times, give me credit, and then it's yours. Take it, make it your own.
Yeah.
Tell us about, I want to talk about the Olympia a little bit, and I want to respect your time as well, because I could keep talking and being the girl here for a long time. But 2 things that I'm curious about, 3 things, maybe 4. Okay, just kidding. I want to hear about your Built Better. So, like, where did that come from? How long have you had it? Was it something else before? Do you have you have other trainers? Are you the only trainer there? And then I know Dylan and I both want to talk about the Olympia a little bit because it is the 60th anniversary. So pretty
exciting. That's a biggie.
Right? So share a little bit about your facility there. And
Yeah. So we're currently in North Scottsdale. Been coaching under Built Better since 2019, started with online, kind of worked a logical way up with, at one point in time, we were in a semi-private space. I was coaching that way. Started growing in terms of trainers and athletes. It is funny though, when we were at that space, I'd have, like, we're out here in Arizona, so we'd have a big name Cardinals guy, and we're in a public space, and so we're trying to train this guy, and people are coming up like, oh my gosh, is that him? Is that him? Is that him? So it came to a point to, it's like, okay, I got to bite the bullet and get into a space. So we've been in this space now for a couple of years, and just been doing our thing, still doing online, doing the in-person, of course, and just.
Oh, we lost him. Lost your volume there. Okay.
Oh, there we go.
Yep. Yeah. So do you have other coaches working for you, or is it just you?
I do. Yep. So I've got a team of 6 currently. And yeah, they're all great guys. Mix of coaches with bachelors and masters and the whole CSCS and all that, and but they're all sharks. They're just like me, to where they're aggressive about learning from the best and providing the best results. They execute the programs that I write and that we build out as a team, and they work with their clients, and everything's under the umbrella of Built Better.
Wow.
That's awesome. Dylan, don't you think that's so cool to think about? You come together, like, I can just picture you guys like, okay, we've got this guy coming in, or female, whoever, and they have this goal, and like putting all your heads together and trying to figure out what's the best plan of attack for that person. That's got to be so fun to work with other like-minded and educated individuals.
It's just why I'm fascinated in listening is because I've been doing this for so long, but I've always really done it solo because I can't find something like this that I've ever wanted to be a part of, because not that I'm something special at all. I just have a certain standard, moral standard, and things that I would like to go about. So to hear this, it's almost really encouraging to somebody like me, because there are people out there that want to be a part of something like that and do that, and to hear and realize that it is out there is very encouraging. And like I said, I've been doing this I'm 42, and I really got into it when I was like 19. And so if that tells you anything, now I haven't been all over the United States, but in many spots. So I just wanted to really say thank you for that. And then I did have a question. So what does it take to be a part of your program in your gym? I'm assuming that you kind of, like you said, you kind of have a scenario on who you'll take and who you won't, and what kind of people do you generally get, and what's your criteria look like for them to come there?
Yeah. So truly, we'll work with anyone who's serious about results and wants to put in the work. The trusting part generally isn't too difficult, knowing what kind of results we've produced and with the wide variety of people. But in terms of the process, when someone's like, okay, like I'm serious about this, I want to invest in myself and get this going, we go through an extremely extensive assessment process. So we have the neurochemistry test that we talked about. We'll get a blood panel done. We kind of have a standard one that we've built out. Depending on who the client is, we might specialize it a little bit more. We have a food sensitivity test that we will go through. And then from there, we have our general questionnaire and whatnot. They come in, we'll go through an assessment head to toe. We want to know what's going on with them. So we'll run an orthopedic and a performance assessment, depending on what demographic they are, what their goals are. We're, of course, doing things like their body composition testing with a 14-site caliper test. We're doing strength testing, depending on who it is and what they need or what they're experiencing. Force plate testing, that generally falls more into the athlete side. But we will do it, like we'll have executives who come in and they have low back issues or they want to get a six-pack or whatever it is, and we find that strength is a limiting factor or their risk of injury. So then we'll do a force plate test and kind of see what's going on. But yeah, by the time that someone starts, we know them head to toe, inside and out, exactly what they need. And then everyone gets an individualized program, nutrition, supplementation, lifestyle protocols. It's all built into our app. And then they have access to the coach 24/7 through the app. Everything's one-on-one in person for the coaching. And then we're constantly rechecking, remeasuring, making sure everything's set, and tweaking to make sure it's working perfectly for them and getting them the best results that they can.
It makes me want to go and get back into competing in track or something so I can come in and get.
Yeah, absolutely.
That sounds great. Okay, if I come out to Scottsdale, are you going to be there? Or do you go to the Arnold?
No, I'll be here, so we can run it. We can run it.
Come get a workout in, and Dylan, you may be all there. It's not until next spring, so depending on what my schedule ends up being, but maybe I have to come out and get my butt kicked. I did in Austin. I was for 5 years doing a article. It was called "Kick Mo's Butt," and I brought it to when I lived in Austin. I brought it to the Austin Fit magazine. And I said, hey, let's do this. So they had me every month at a different location. The coaches or trainers, whoever it was, would put me through the hardest workout that they could put me through. And it was literally kick Mo's butt. And then I would write about it. And they had a photographer come and take pictures and some video. And then I got to share about my experience.
That's fun.
It was so fun because it was so many different walks of athletics, like so many different things. Like we just did everything we could get it right. So that's kind of me. I'm all about everything. That's so fun. Okay, so we got the Olympia right around the corner, and we're going to be there with the show and our sponsor. It's called STEM Regen. Have you heard of this company by chance?
I haven't.
Yeah, so they've gone global. They're huge in the biohacking industry, and now they're looking at bringing this product into the sports arena with bodybuilding fitness. They have a product. So basically, it's all about enhancing your own stem cells from your own body, right? Your natural stem cells. So it's a really cool product. It's all plant-based. The owner of it is a stem cell researcher for as long as I've been doing fitness. He's been doing stem cell research. So it's pretty awesome. We're going to have to get you some. We'll have it shipped to you so you can check it out.
Sweet.
Yeah, because it'll be an amazing product. If you like it, it'd be great for all of your clients. Oh my goodness, because it's about releasing your stem cells and targeting the inflammation that may be wherever there's an injury or a needing of healing. And so this product literally comes in, it helps remove inflammation, and it helps bring the stem cells that are released to the infected area or affected area. So pretty amazing product.
That's
and
awesome.
I can get some in your hands. It's very new in the bodybuilding. And of course it's fractions of what a stem cell injection would cost.
Sure.
Nothing near that, but it's pretty cool. So I can't wait. Yeah. So we're going to be there in our booth. So if you're in the expo, we'd love for you to come by and say hi. And
absolutely,
we can take some pictures and just meet in person. It'd be so fun. I know you're going to be busy, but it'd be awesome if you come by and bring Brooke. Will she be with you?
Yeah, she'll be there. Baby girl will be there. The whole crew.
Yeah, so you got to at least come by. There they are. Love it. Yeah, so if you don't mind, swing by just 5 minutes somewhere. We'll be there Friday, Saturday. More on Saturday for Dylan. He's speaking at the Olympia University. Are you familiar with that?
I am.
Okay, so Dylan's going to be speaking there on Friday.
Nice.
More than, but we'll be there Saturday most of the day for Dylan too, so we can meet. That'd be fun. Yeah. So, how many years have you been working with the Olympia and with clients, getting them ready for this event?
Yeah, so it hasn't been long. I've worked with some amateurs. I've worked with IFBB pros. This is my first year officially walking someone into the Olympia, though. Oh. Everything has been somewhat removed from the Olympia, knowing that I'm more so on the training side when it comes to those guys. So yeah, this is going to be a first with our two guys that are going in. So yeah.
And share who these two guys are, because I know one of them. I know who.
Yeah, so I'm helping Chris going into his sixth, God willing, sixth. Yep, and then Nick Walker, I've been helping him with the midsection and bringing everything in tighter. So, and that's been going incredibly well.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, congratulations, because I know that's fun to have people in every different sport. You've got all the professional athletes, and it's great to have the professional bodybuilders and different athletes around the world, all the different departments. Question for you on the bodybuilding. Do you find that you're able to take these guys that are into bodybuilding and do some more athletic stuff with them, and it's not just lifting weights? I mean, I know that, obviously the lifting the 5 pounds there was the fatigue of the fatigues of the fatigues. I get the whole drop stuff and how that goes, but do you find that they're able to get in there, or that they want to do some of the more athletic things as well?
Yeah, so I mean, to be completely honest, on my side, I'm not interested in doing anything that isn't going to directly help them with their goal. So with Chris, he wants to win another Olympia. There's things that we want to bring up. Now, maybe part of that is, hey, we need to prevent injuries from happening. And so in the assessment, we find certain things and we'll train him that way. But never would I be like, hey, you know what? You're interested in doing some sprinting? Let's do that. You know what I mean? But to say that we work things like that in, absolutely. I just don't necessarily label anything. Everything is a tool. It drives my clients nuts. I say that so much, that everything's a tool, whether it's your lips are puckered and you're doing a triceps kickback in the booty shorts or whatever it is, or if you're doing a strongman exercise or whatever it is, they're all tools. And some will help an athlete that you wouldn't have thought it was going to help them. But it's just knowing about, okay, which tool do I need to use? When do I need to use it? How do I need to use it? So absolutely, with the guys that I've gotten to help this year, we've done some unconventional things, we'll say, compared to the normal bodybuilding world, but nothing that's out of the ordinary. Whoa, why are you having them do that? Everything's with a purpose. And
right.
Yeah.
I have a question and I know we need to wrap this up, but I was hoping that we could just finish some of this awesome talk with, how do you handle, and to the depth of it you want to share or not, how do you handle being a leader, a business owner, a husband, and keeping your faith first with the people that you work and that are looking to you? Can you share a little bit of how you bring your faith into your work and merge them? Because I know that we're to be in the world, not of the world. Yep. We are to be an example and a light. We are to allow our talk and our walk to match, and not to just be, the faith-filled person going to church on a Sunday, Saturday, and then the rest of the week is, just normal looking person that looks like a good person, So how do you do that? Do you pray with your employees? Do you pray with your athletes? Do you talk about the Lord? Do you mind sharing as a godly man?
Yeah.
Because I think so many men need to hear that and be encouraged in their own walk. Yeah. And hopefully this message will get out to more men.
Sure. No, I think from my perspective, none of those things happen without God's hand on it. And it's not even mine. Like this is a life and a journey that I've been blessed with. So who am I to try to make it my own? You know what I mean? I've had moments where it's like, like you're early on and it's like your first pro athlete. It's like, do I really want to push and say something? Like, what if it turns them off or whatever? But a good reminder is like, that athlete is there because God placed them there, and he's used the things that he has blessed you with. So like, if he wants that, that's his call. Like, he's the boss. He's the boss, and I get to be on this roller coaster. So it makes it really easy to do those things when you're called to it. I think the other piece is knowing that all of us, whether we know it or not, we are like, we're children of God. We are created by him, and we all have that God-sized hole inside of us. And regardless of who you are, you're going to be attracted to that. I'm absolutely convinced of it. Where I've had athletes that are the opposite of what we would assume a faithful and however you want to put it athlete would be. And when they see me and I'm happy and in love with my wife and business is going well and I'm happy and I'm not anxious and I'm this and I'm that, they're attracted to that and they want to know what's different. Like, what is it that you're doing that when I go out and I'm paying for girls and I'm getting drunk every night and I'm spending money on things that I shouldn't, how is it that you have more joy and fulfillment than I do? And I feel empty. And like, whether they know it or not, they start to figure out like it might be that God thing. It might be that God thing. And then it opens doors. You know what I mean? They see that there's trust, because this is a very serious process that we go through with coaching and trying to change their life and their career. And then they open up, and then I get to speak into their lives. And it kind of happens naturally. Nothing's ever forced. I think that's one of the worst things that I can do in some of the scenarios that I can think of, is trying to force it down their throat. Because with these athletes, everyone has an opinion or they want something from them. So when it's me just living as an example, and then they see that love and kind of God emulating off of everything that we're doing, it tends to push them in that direction. And I love seeing that too.
Do you and I thank you for sharing that. My brain is kind of like going, and I want to make sure we end here in a little bit. So do you and your wife have a specific, well, not specific, and I'm sure it's led by the Lord as well, but do you guys go into your gym when it's quiet and closed down and pray over the doors and the areas, and just, can you share a little bit about that? Because again, I want people that hear this to be like, oh, I need to do that, or I should be doing that, or I didn't know I could do that, or wow, like, I think it's a kind of an eye opener for people to hear these things, because a lot of this is not talked about so much, right?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I'll say, like, when we first got the facility, we were praying over it a ton, and friends praying over it, and physically being here and touching surfaces and just praying that God's here. In my head, it's a daily thing. I know that, like, for example, whether it's here at the facility or with an athlete, I was just talking to one of my athletes in Florida about this, that whenever I'm in an Uber and I'm going and I'm going to meet with them, like, that time is spent in prayer and just asking that God would take it, that I'd be moved out of the way, and regardless of what came, he would be seen through it. So a lot more daily exposures, but there's definitely the times that, like, I'm feeling led and it's more dramatic than that. If that's a way to put it, I'm sure you understand what I mean. But yeah, there's a lot of that. And again, it's very easy to do that when I know that this is not mine. It's not, like, sure, it's mine to steward, but this is God's. And so I need to be talking with him, and I need to be asking him to be in this with me. This is not something that's going to be successful because of me. This is going to be successful because God's in it, and he's using me as his tool to bring this in and to save more souls and to reach people that can uniquely be reached through this space, through Built Better, through myself, through my wife, through our connections and our network.
Okay, I don't mean to be taking up all the talk time, Dylan, because I'm sure you have things you want to say, but I can't help but I visualize you and your wife, and maybe y'all have already done this or talked about it, or maybe it's somewhere down the road, maybe y'all thought about it, but I can't help but visualize you and your wife having maybe some special, however you want to call it, ministry at your facility there, like open mic night, or, in quotes, like, hey, Monday night, we're going to have open night if you want to come in, and we're just going to be here talking about the Lord, and come as you are, and, you know, just sharing our testimony. I can't help but think that there may be an opportunity that God will lead you guys, since you have the space and you have a clientele that could really probably be blessed by something like that, and to hear your wife be there at your side and your child, and it could be like, hey, we're going to be an hour just talking about the Lord and the Bible and our testimony, and come as you are, because some people probably really need that don't have a church, or they don't have a place to go, that they could have something of that nature. So I just had to share that because it went in my spirit.
I love it.
Yeah. What church do you have? A church you go to that you love?
Yeah, we go to Pillar. It's up here in North Scottsdale. Head pastor is Preston Morrison. He's an incredible guy. Incredible guy.
Pillar. Okay, I haven't heard of that one, but there's so many great churches out there. That's awesome. I know there's one in Scottsdale I've been to, and I'm spacing on the name of it. It's a big non-denominational church. My pastor actually shared the church with a friend of mine that lives in Scottsdale, looking for a church a few years ago. And I went with her a couple times, and I'm spacing on the name, but great pastor and ministry there as well. But Pillar, cool. That's awesome. Dylan, you have anything you want to share or ask before we let Justin get back to kicking people's butts?
Yeah, two things I wanted to kind of bring up and see where you were at with them. So one of the things that I've spent a lot of time on probably the past 6 months or so is trying to discern what the Lord wants from me, what he wants me to do. I feel like I've been doing things that were, put in front of me, but don't know what to do with it because I wasn't asking. It was, what does Dylan want? Not really what does he want. Sure. And once I figured out, it's not about what I want, it's about what you want. Now I figured out what it is I'm supposed to be doing, and it started falling into place.
Yeah.
So I guess, have you done that, and do you feel like you're able to listen and hear it, and that you're doing it? And then also, another thing that I've kind of dealt with was the consolation and desolation aspect, right? So everything's great when you're up here. How do you handle it so much when you're down here? And I found like, okay, I got to ask for more trust. I got to ask for this because I'm trying to do this on my own, but it's not really for me to do on my own. And once I admitted I can't do this on my own, even though, and let the pride go and did that, do you find yourself being more reliant? Because I love what you said, because when I'm in the car, I stop listening to music, talking on the phone. I'm basically in prayer most of the time. People, and now people don't think you're crazy because they think that you're talking to somebody, on the phone. I mean, so people pull up, you're not like, whoa, but I'm doing that constantly out loud. So I loved hearing that. But do you find those are some of your best times to talk too?
Yeah, I think with the first part, with trying to figure out, I think you were asking, if I remember correctly, like how have I gotten better discernment, I guess. Yeah. And being able to listen. It's been a lot of back and forth, honestly, a lot of back and forth, but that's part of that. And there's grace that comes with all of it. And we're getting better and better every day. But I remember when I started Built Better, it was kind of like a bird getting kicked out of the nest. Like I was hesitant, and it was a cool thing, like to start a company, but I was not trusting what God was calling me to do. And then I was kind of forced to do it. And now here we are. So what a beautiful thing. And then there's been other times where I'm trying to force the opposite side and I have to listen to the closed door. But I think the difference is being able to learn from my mistake as soon as I can, seeing that like, wow, like when I was scared to do it, he was good when it happened. And when I was trying to force something and I had to, in my head, sacrifice it, he was good. Whether that be because there's a very obvious different open door that he had, or whether it was just entirely leaving it be and I don't know why. And so now I'm in this point where it's just like it almost feels like I'm disassociating from things, but it's just this overwhelming piece of like, I don't even care, honestly, because I don't even know what's going to come next. So like, yeah, like if this doesn't happen, like we've been playing with trying to move into a new facility over the last 6 months, and it has been a headache. It's been a headache, but every time there's a no, it's like, God, like I can't wait to see what the yes is. And if that's 2 years from now, you take the business away from me and it's because you're calling me to something else, okay. Or if it's, oh my gosh, we're going to run into this beautiful financial blessing and then we're going to move into something even bigger and better than I could have even thought, like that's great too.
Yes.
And then in regards to kind of finding my time to communicate with them, I think that's what you're asking for the second part.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had lots of stuff like that too, man. Like lots of time praying and just having my set routines of whether it's first thing in the morning, making sure that I have my time with him where it's quiet and I'm in the Word, or usually when I get ready in the mornings and I take my pups on a walk, it's a sermon, and then first thing in the morning, worship music in the car, like, and having those set times where everything is quiet. Because like you said, like there's so much going on. Like you have to be intentional about setting things to where you can be quiet and you can let your mind rest so that you can hear that voice that's been there the whole time, but you need to slow down and listen and talk and ask him into those things.
Yes, and setting aside that time every day and putting it first. I've found like every day I'm always like, oh, I got so much to do. And I don't care what I've got going on. That's how I start my day. It just is. And everything else just has to wait because you do have the time because he gives you the time if you put him first.
Exactly. Exactly. And it's same thing like with, I love how my pastor, Preston, has put it. We would not have successful marriages if we treated our spouse the way some people treat their relationship with God, and not to be negative, but just to be a straight shooter. Like if it was like, oh, well, I haven't talked to my wife in like 2 weeks, but I'm gonna give her like 5 minutes when I'm scrolling Instagram later today. Like, oh, really? Like, okay.
Or they say, how people like to say, but we're good.
Yeah, but we're good. We're good.
Oh my gosh, that is so true. That is so true. I heard recently, I don't know, it was on a pastor I listened to or what, but maybe it was a pastor I like to listen to. I think he said there's a statistic that out of the faith-filled Christian proclaiming people, only 2% read their Bible regularly. 2%. And I was like, how do we know the manual for life that God's given us if we haven't been reading? Even 5 minutes turns into, you could read a couple verses in 5 minutes and have like blow your mind with what you just read, right? Like God can use anything. Yeah. And I always find if I say 5 minutes, it turns into 30. Yeah. Just like trying to say goodbye to Justin right now. But and the other thing is, I remember years ago learning, of course, I have a whole testimony, which I won't go into now, I promise, about tithing and how God looks at our money and how we're to look at it. And I went through a really big tithing deal for myself, which was amazing. But it was right when I was 40. And so, but over the years, I've learned that it's not just about giving the first 10% of your money, but it's the first 10% of everything that God's given us. So whether it's our time, the day, right? And so I'm like, well, what's 10% of my day? Like in minutes, and so I try to look at it like that for myself, because I know that even if I don't give the whole 10% at the very beginning, maybe I do, 5%, another 5% later, but I make it happen in there. And it was a kind of an aha moment. Oh, it's 10% of, that's just the minimum, right? Like it could be more and it could, but I just love that. It's so good to hear and refreshing to hear a young, successful married man with a child that's like all out for God. And I just really am inspired. I know, Dylan, you are too. And just thank you so much. This is exactly when I saw Jesus is Lord or Jesus is King on your Instagram. I'm like, I got to talk to this guy.
I love it.
I didn't even
thank you very much.
The profile. As soon as I just clicked on it and saw that, I said, I'm in.
I love it. Well, I appreciate that.
Okay, well, promise us that if you get a second or 5 minutes maybe to stop at the booth.
Oh, yeah, we'll be there.
Just come find us. We'll be there Friday, Saturday. I know Dylan's mostly for 2 sessions anyways on Friday. So if you come by on Friday, I'll be there. But we'd love to meet Brooke. And you know what? I would love to have Brooke on here for maybe a girl-to-girl kind of conversation that could be something very special for other women to hear. So ask her if she's up for that someday.
Absolutely.
And put that in the works after the Olympia, and she's not like having brand new baby too. So
yeah,
it would be really fun. Yeah, I want to have more of those kind of heart-to-heart conversations with women, and really, women's health is really big to me. But this time in my life, it's women's health in body and spirit. And so it's been a big thing for me to really focus on that. But okay, So thank you so very much. We'll keep you guys in prayer because I know that the Lord's got big things for you, and we can all stand together in prayer. So keep us in mind. If we come to mind, please pray for us too, for family Christmas, and we look forward to seeing you there. Dylan?
Yes, I'm really looking forward to meeting you. And I don't say good luck about the Olympia, but we'll say God bless you guys. I know you're exactly what you're supposed to do. So I really can't wait to see what happens.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. I really appreciate your time, and looking forward to meeting you guys in person down at the Olympia.
Yeah, awesome. Sounds good. Okay, give Brooke a hug for me, please. Even though
Will do.
All right, bye, Justin.
All right, bye.
Bye. Dylan, that was awesome.
Yeah, I like him a lot.
Yeah, like we could have probably kept talking another 30 or 40 minutes about the Lord and scripture. Yeah. And, you know, one of the verses, I had it pulled up here. It's in Psalm 19. It's talking about how God created, he's talking the whole Psalm is beautiful, right? It says the heavens declare the glory of God, and the sky above proclaims his handiwork. Day to day pours out speech, and night to night reveals knowledge. There is no speech, nor are there words whose voice is not heard. Their voices go out through all the earth, and their words to the end of the world. In them, he has set a tent for the sun, which comes out like a bridegroom leaving his chamber, and like a strong man runs its course with joy. Its rising is from the ends of the heaven, and its circuit to the end of them. And there is nothing hidden from its heat. And when you think about those words specific, there is nothing hidden from its heat of the sun, right? Like, right. And then of the speech and the words, and it's all the knowledge and the understanding of who God is and how he created everything. It's so amazing to me. And thinking about the heat there in Arizona, and I'm like, there's nothing hidden from the heat. But, oh man, I guess you can tell I'm all excited. I feel like my spirit and my heart has been strengthened today just in our conversation. So I know this is what God calls us to do, is to encourage one another.
Yes, it was really good. I liked him a lot. I really did. Yes.
Okay. Well, we probably better shut down this awesome show. It's been an amazing opportunity. Thanks, Dylan, so much for joining me here. And looking forward for the Olympia. I know, although this show is going to come out after the Olympia, but that's okay. We're going to have some fun at the Olympia, and just getting to meet all these great people. So
I can't wait. I'm really looking forward to it.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining the Monica Brant Show. Thank you for joining us. You can find Dylan, make sure we share how people can find you on Instagram. And
yes, just everything for me is very simple. It's just at Dylan Gemelli, all one word, and it's literally everywhere. You can't miss it.
Yeah. So thank you guys for stay tuned for more shows coming up here at the Monica Brant Show, and like, subscribe, share, and go follow Dylan, and we'll see you on the next show. Bye, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
StemRegen is professionally formulated for athletes for enhanced recovery, improved microcirculation, and smart cellular signaling. I attribute being an athlete to all of the years of this incredible journey I've had in the health and fitness industry. I'm Monica Brant, 30-year health educator and encourager. Having added StemRegen into my program for the last year, I've been able to maintain the level of intense exercise that I demand on myself. Thanks to StemRegen, I am unleashing my regenerative potential.